Hi Virgo, this is your forecast for the month of June 2017. This is a general reading for Virgo Sun, Virgo Rising, or Virgo Moon. If you have a different rising or moon sign, you might find watching those videos helpful or more informative for you. You can watch your reading in 3 different ways: the full extended monthly, or for just the energy influence, watch the brief. Or if you prefer, watch the weekly for the upcoming week. Weeklies also make it easy for you to review information you may have forgotten in the full reading. Please remember that these are general readings, and so they may not apply to everyone. If you would like a reading that is specific to you, please visit my website at thealchemistastrologer.com, and I invite you to follow me on Facebook, Google+, and Instagram. Please also check out my pay-per-view channel, vimeo.com/on-demand/finding-love for monthly love readings. So Virgo, you're starting the month off with a great card, the Sun card. So this is a week that focuses on your happiness, your health, your vitality, your success, and well-being. Now, there could also be an emphasis on children or father figures, authority figures, life choices. But it centers around empowering yourself, having optimism about your future, being confident, being prosperous, and feeling some type of victory or attainment. And this is going to be a week of opportunities that gives you that sense of confidence and makes you feel happy, makes you feel optimistic. For some of you, you're fortunate to have warm weather. Maybe it's exceptionally hot where you are. But this is a week where you're looking at life, you're feeling good, you're riding high, and you want to achieve, you want to move further ahead, and you're going to get that opportunity. However, in the process, obviously you're going to encounter some challenges as well when you open up these doorways of opportunity. And how you respond will be particularly important as to what the outcome will be. So this is going to be a week where you have understanding, if you allow yourself to, and you get the rules of the game. You know the players, what their parts are, what you're doing, and how it all comes together, and how it's related, and how it's related to your purpose and your goal for life. This is going to be a week where you connect with people of influence, people who can make your dreams happen, people that have information. And so this could be a time where you're sharing, there are exchanges, you're learning something happy, or you're receiving some good news. And this is all coming about, again, because of the way that you are responding and interacting with others. If you're friendly, if you're non-judgmental, if you're just taking it in and, putting out that joyous aura, you're going to get some really fantastic results, and you're going to find yourself capable of dealing with even the most difficult people. They're going to be willing to perhaps bend to your way, see your perspective, depending on how you interact. So this is a week where you have people to support you. Good things are coming to you. You're attracting good things. Friends, acquaintances, information, connections, networks. Anything that's connected to your goal and objectives for life. So there's something to look forward to this week, even if it's a small thing. There's something on your horizon that makes it just a little bit brighter. Now, this card is all about your confidence, your mojo, letting your light shine, being the center of attention. So if you're in any way suffering from any doubts or self-confidence, it's going to eclipse that light. don't be so concerned with trying to impress people with who you are. Or maybe you're trying to come to the rescue. You're the white knight or the knight in shining armor. You're going to save a situation or a person. And on a deeper level, maybe this isn't even something that's good for you. You just need that validation. The sun is also, since it's concerned with being the center of attention, can be prone to arrogance or narcissism or bad temper. So this is not a week for you to indulge yourself in those ways, for you to not let your temper, your anger, your frustration get out of control. Simply because your demands are too high. You're expecting too much. You want things to happen too quickly. You're trying too hard, in which case, the sun is going to burn you. Think about the myth of Icarus and flying, too close to the sun and having that wax melt, your wings clipped, and you're falling down to earth. So you could experience some kind of burnout if you're too aggressive in trying to meet your agenda. This is about being diplomatic, being friendly, being optimistic, being helpful, putting out good energy in order to get that good energy back. So don't let your frustration get in the way of that. Let it drive you in the right manner. This could be a week where something, lights up like a revelation of some sort. You gain a new perspective, you get some new information, and you gain greater self-awareness. This may be a week where you need to be more innovative, more creative, and think outside of the box. Now, the second week, for whatever reason, now you're feeling trapped. Now, maybe you're indoors, maybe the sun is too hot, or maybe you're holding yourself back from your own success. Maybe you were indeed lacking confidence. But whatever it is, you feel some kind of restriction this week. There's a sense of powerlessness. And maybe you're going around and around, going over something in your head, like, there's a vicious circle. You can't get past yourself and your thinking, and therefore you're inhibiting your own energy, especially if you're lacking confidence. Now, maybe something is going on that gives you some worry, some anxiety, some emotional pain that you're dealing with. Now, for some of you, maybe you're holding yourself back. Maybe the sun represented your literal vitality, your health, and maybe you're dealing with an illness. But there's a feeling of being unhappy this week, or focusing on removing whatever obstructions or blockages are in your way. There's a need for you to break free and to overcome your fear of something in order to renew your faith and restore your productivity. Now, for some of you, you're feeling trapped because the sun may be tied to family, a child, your father, some authority figure, and the demands in connection to that are holding you back or causing you to have to change your priorities, change your agenda. There's some news that's going to come your way, or some extra responsibility that's going to cause you, only momentarily though, to have to change things around. And this is beyond your control. And so there could be some things that come up that on the surface you thought, okay, that's all taken care of. And now, lo and behold, they crop up. So you're frustrated, and largely due to the fact that something came at you at the last minute that you weren't expecting, and now you're having to shift your focus, readjust because of it. And it probably could have been avoided somewhere along the line. Somebody got off track. Somebody didn't tell you something. They didn't tell you in a timely manner. Something didn't unfold the way that it should have. And that's creating some temporary frustration for you. Now, some of you, maybe you are literally holding yourself back because you're stuck in a particular thought pattern. There's some narrow thinking. You feel particularly passionate about your stance. Or maybe you're being a little bit reckless. Maybe you're living just for today rather than an eye on the future. And so, you could have been careless with time in some way. And now you're having to play catch up. You're having to work harder in order to keep a situation from overwhelming you. So hopefully, this is just a temporary situation because, you do probably have some good news on the horizon. Maybe some doors are opening, maybe you're doing some traveling. And if you recall, the sun created a lot of opportunities, but they created challenge as well. And maybe this is the week where you're recognizing the flip side of those opportunities. Not that they're negative, but again, they create some obstacles that you need to deal with. For some of you, maybe you need to get outdoors in the sunshine. Maybe you need to let loose, get some exercise, some fresh air, some movement going. Now, the third week you have this ace. So there is a new beginning. You got some last minute notice. Maybe you were holding yourself back momentarily, but these opportunities have moved forward and there's new beginnings. So this could be something that falls in your lap out of the blue. Maybe you weren't expecting it. It's a windfall, a helping hand of some sort. And if you were focused on health, maybe you're seeing an improvement in some way. But this is a week where you're focused on a foundation, either emotionally or financially. You want to have comfort, enjoyment, prosperity. And so the physical, the material, the emotional is in focus. Now, some of you, maybe you're seeking to increase your salary, or maybe you won something, or there's a new opportunity, or you're starting some kind of enterprise or business, and now the capital is beginning to flow. But this is a card about some type of financial advantage or success. Maybe you are being recognized for something, or there's a promotion or a career change on the horizon for you. You are planting the seeds of your material desires this week. Now, for some of you, this may involve a relationship, whatever that may be, professional, personal, romantic, and maybe you're going to meet somebody new unexpectedly when you're just going about your daily affairs, or when you're in connection to your employment or your work schedule, when you're purchasing something, when you're repairing something, you come in contact with somebody and a relationship begins. For some of you, you are establishing a more solid foundation with somebody, and maybe you're doing that by making some plans where you had previously held yourself back. Some of you may be considering, having a child, or buying a home or a car, or taking some type of special vacation or trip. This is going to focus on bringing your ideas to life. You're trying to attract something that you desire. You're trying to spend energy influencing others. But for some of you, there's been some awareness that has come into the picture where you've been operating under an illusion, and you recognize that now you really need to take the initiative. You need to take some steps. Now, for some of you, maybe you've been held back from your success because maybe an offer was withdrawn, or you're waiting on some income and it hasn't arrived yet, or you didn't get paid what you should have been for your services. Maybe there was a bad investment, or somehow the plans fell through. You got off to a false start, or maybe there was even a misuse of resources in some way. So this could be a week where, on the negative, there's some rash decisions, some poor choices made, some overindulgence, and perhaps somebody putting all of their eggs in one basket. But in the positive, this is the card of opportunity, new things on the horizon for you emotionally, financially, physically. Now, the month ends on this moon card, which I don't particularly like for you. Now, this could be a connection to a Pisces person, or something connected to family or your mother. So on opposite ends of this reading, we have things that connect to family, our parental relationship, perhaps our parental responsibilities. So there's something that connects to the past, possibly travel, and that could have been the last minute notice about an opportunity to spend some time in the sun or take a vacation. But there's change taking place. You may be experiencing something emotional, something psychological, something intuitive. You're definitely in touch with your intuitions, and hopefully you're not allowing your emotions to override any kind of practicality. This is a week where there could be some intensity. You know, there's something related to past conditioning or something instinctual. In the negative, though, this is a week where maybe you want to escape and maybe you feel trapped. Maybe you need to get out maybe you need to take care of your health, and there's something, your emotional health is important, or perhaps even the physical health. Or maybe you want to take a vacation and yet you're trapped. You can't do what you want to do. But there could be issues connected to escapism, confusion, deception, betrayal, maybe somebody working behind the scenes negatively, even possibly confronting some lies. So this is a week where in the negative, you probably will feel a sense of fear or uncertainty or insecurity. Maybe you're suspicious or irritable and really don't quite know why. Now, it may have something to do with feeling trapped in a situation, or you got some last minute news or some new awareness about something. You may also be deceiving yourself about a situation and not seeing things clearly because they appear to be different on the surface. Whatever it is, maybe you're worrying about your health, or your emotional state is connected to your sense of security, your finances in some way. But whatever it is, something is going to come to light. Some secret, any deception, anything hidden, anything you're hiding, anything someone else is hiding, that's going to come up for review this week. And you're going to be seeing things more closely because you're going to be looking carefully at your situation. Now, for some of you, it's possible that you may hear a couple of pieces of bad news, and maybe that has to do with that Eight of Swords. Or again, you're dealing with some physical issues connected to your stress and anxiety. And it could be that you're just trying too hard. Now, maybe you burned yourself out trying to, again, impress someone, trying to save something, pushing too hard because you needed to be needed. And ultimately, your emotions are overwhelming you, and any small thing, you take offense to it. This may be indicating that you actually need to relax. You need to take the initiative. Even if you've been feeling trapped, you've been going in circles, you need to take that vacation and do something that you enjoy so that you can rejuvenate yourself, so that if anything you've been facing, you can have a fresh frame of mind and come up with a great solution for it, rather than taking your frustration out on other people. So this is not the week to hold your success back by being in denial about what your true situation is, whether that's your work, your health, or your relationships. This is a week to get past those old patterns where you've been sabotaging yourself because you have these emotional situations rooted in fear or anger, and you're not opening up to new opportunities. So being excessively occupied with thinking about your finances or your work or your emotional state is actually going to work against you. The path may not be clear for you right now. There could be some uncertainty, some vagueness, some cloudy thinking. And perhaps you're out of sync emotionally with other people. But this is a week for you to be vigilant and not avoid any issues, for you to focus, for you to try to get motivated, and maybe if you're working on something creative, for you to follow through on that plan. Otherwise, this is going to be a week where you're wandering in the wilderness, you're in the dark, because there's some aimlessness and there's a need for you to get reoriented about where you're headed in order to meet that success. Now, the underlying energy is the Chariot. So perhaps a Cancer person is important for you in some way. This, again, is about getting your emotions in check, being very focused about what your goals are, where you're headed, and how you're going to get there. So there's something that you want to achieve, and yet there's some issues that are at odds with one another. Maybe there's a lack of balance, or you're having to choose between a risk and safety, or two very different outcomes. Maybe you're in opposition to others, or if you're holding yourself back, maybe you're in opposition with yourself. You're of two minds. You can't quite master those emotions and decide where you want to go. This is about winning and overcoming those obstacles. Now, they may be related to transportation, communication, getting a car, trying to stay on top of your game. And there could be issues where there's some conflict of interest, and that's getting in the way of your success. It could be that this single-minded focus, though, the narrow-mindedness, is also preventing you from moving forward the way you want to. So this is a week where you're going to have to be mindful of those emotions and curb in those impulses, rein in that anger and that frustration, and use your imagination and know that anything is possible. And you probably feel that because you feel very determined about what it is you're trying to accomplish. And much of what you're going to accomplish is going to happen by working in tandem with others. And remember, you have that resourceful network of friends, acquaintances, and information. What's going to work against you is, avoiding your issues, being apathetic, not willing to work with others. So your attitude, your viewpoint, how you think, how you feel is making a very strong impact on those around you. And at times, you will have the authority to make decisions, and at other times, you'll have to fall in line and go with the fold in order to let somebody else lead. But again, issues related to travel, communication, changing your schedule, your personal, your professional, or your financial schedule, and coming up with some different strategies. Things are moving very quickly for you. The Chariot moves things forward. Now, on a side note, it's important not to move too quickly, like driving your car too fast and getting a ticket or getting in an accident. But you want to move something forward, and you're trying to do that with your leadership skills, your abilities. You want to work more efficiently, and that's fine, again, as long as you're being diplomatic, rather than being domineering or aggressive or overbearing. Know that any kind of alterations, that last minute notice or changes in your schedule will ultimately work for you. They're going to bring about some opportunity more often than not than costing you. Some of you may be relocating, or maybe you're traveling because of some romantic connection, because the sun and the moon in astrology is a new beginning, and it's the male-female principle. So there's possibly a new beginning for you this month in regard to a relationship. Whatever the case, you're going to have to remain focused. You're going to have to be patient, because that's going to be tested by delays, by miscommunication, by breakdowns, and for some of you, because of medical issues that you're dealing with. Now, the Chariot can be a very obsessive card. It can help you meet your goal because you keep your eye on the prize, but it can also mean that you can be too focused, and again, putting all of your eggs in one basket, thinking that a person or a situation is the end all to your dilemma, they're the solution. And if you're trying to gain confidence through that set of circumstances, you may realize that you're looking for your power and your confidence in the wrong place. Some of the things this month are going to be beyond your control simply because you made an error in judgment, or you made a mistake, or they're just beyond you. And so things are not going to move the way that you want them to. Whatever the case, your relationships are in focus, and they're going to enter some kind of new phase that gives you a better understanding, changes your perspective, or broadens your horizon in some way. So this could be a month where you actually cultivate your creativity, or you feel a greater sense of playfulness. Again, especially if you're taking a vacation or you're spending some time out in the outdoors. This could be the beginning of something that's emphasized by the sun and the moon. Now, for some of you, the problem is you're not moving, you're just fantasizing. So this is a month where diplomacy is important, and vigilance, and working with others. This is going to give you the opportunity to tie up some loose ends if you're willing. And in the process, again, you're going to change your perspective. Your belief system and your values will be either challenged or they're going to be rewarded. And this is going to connect to your partnerships, your relationships, whether they are in constructive mode, or you're working against yourself, or others are working against you. You're allowing yourself to be put at a disadvantage. You'll be looking at that. For some of you, you've got this great idea, and yet nobody's buying into it, or you can't come to terms with others. You have these opposing forces and nobody can agree, and therefore you end up feeling as if you're going to have to do it alone. So it all depends on you doing that, and how great your belief is in your own idea. Now, you could find yourself in circumstances where somebody's constantly criticizing, the way somebody is doing something, or how they're living their life. Or maybe you're involved in a career that has been a profession for you, when in fact it's making you feel trapped. You want to be freer. You want to, enjoy life. You want a simpler life. So you may be coming to the realization of who you are versus what you want to be, what you want to become, and how those are conflicted. You may be conflicted with the way things are and how you want them to be. So there's an ability for you to see the big picture, plan into the future, and yet, for some reason, some of you may be unable to put that plan into forward motion. And it may be because you're holding yourself back in some way. All right, Virgo, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Let me know with your kind comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a great month, and I look forward to speaking with you next month.